Many people realize that they've been sexually assaulted months or even years after it happened. In these situations, the perpetrator is usually a significant other or someone close to them. It's helpful to understand why this happens for healing and for peace of mind. So, here are some of the possible reasons why you might realize later in life that you were assaulted. Remember, everyone experiences and processes their trauma differently, and the following reasons may not resonate with you personally. The halo effect is when we see a person in such a positive light that our minds convince us that they can do no harm. This tends to be a common occurrence in romantic relationships. It's very easy to be blinded by love, and if gaslighting or manipulation is happening, it can be even more challenging to spot sexual assault. But just because you're romantically involved doesn't make it okay for your partner to demand sexual acts of you. The halo effect can also occur with other close people in your life and doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic relationship. For example, it could be a close friend or a classmate. You may try to convince yourself that nothing wrong happened, especially if this is a relationship that you hold close to your heart. A lot of survivors will often feel guilty calling something assault if they said yes, or if they simply didn't say anything at all. But just because the word no wasn't spoken doesn't mean that an assault didn't occur. Our society has placed a lot of pressure on the word yes, when in reality it means nothing if it was said out of fear. For years or months, you may convince yourself that just because you didn't fight back or say no, what you experienced wouldn't classify as sexual assault. This is a result of wrongful education, and you should not feel guilty or ashamed at all. A lot of people who decide to report sexual assault to a friend, family member, or legal team are often victim blamed. This means that the survivor is told that what took place is their fault. You might disregard what took place and believe the false narrative others have created for you. Common phrases of victim blaming include, "Weren't you drunk? Are you sure that happened?" Or maybe it was just a misunderstanding. When put in a stressful or traumatic situation, our bodies enter a mode of survival. You may become so focused on remaining safe that what takes place in the moment becomes less important. In other cases, you may try to block the memories out of your mind because they're just too painful to rehash. And when you do go back to think about them, you fear that you can't trust your judgment. Over time, these memories can resurface. Even if it happened years ago, your mind is still processing and healing from the information you've now discovered. Be gentle with yourself, and know that none of what you experienced is your fault. So what now? You shouldn't have to go through this alone. You deserve to be supported, which is why seeking professional help from a mental health expert or someone who specializes in sexual trauma could be beneficial. If cost is an issue, there are free helplines available. If there's a friend or family member you trust, open up to them. If you're not ready to share what's happening out loud, you can express your feelings through journaling. Remember, there are a lot of emotions to unpack in revisiting your trauma, which is why it's important to be patient with yourself during the healing process and do what's best for you. Visit our resource library to find helpful resources on mental health, gender-based violence, and more.